guys, this is Waga and welcome to the channel. As always, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and you can also star the repository on GitHub. We're about to continue with our application, and the video you're about to watch was part of a much longer video that I decided to split in two so that the videos don't get too long. And so we'll be continuing from where we left off to get the user's location, right? And for that we need the geolocator package, and we could create this method. We could call it get location, like so, and we're going to have to perform async operations on it, so we might mark it as async, like so. And what we need is the geolocator package, so we could bring in the geolocator, and from the geolocator class we need the method get current position, and this one takes an optional value of how accurate you want it to be. So there's some levels of accuracy that I saw have problems according to the issues on the geolocator package if you go to GitHub. So let's go with location accuracy, and this one should be dot, well, you could put high, low, lowest, medium. Yeah, so as we're going to go with the, I'm guessing, okay, we could go with high. Let's go with high, like so. So this one is going to, we're going to await this function, of course, and for that, wait, we're going to say await, and we're going to put it in position of type position. So we could say position, like so. So we're going to put it in position, and to calculate the value of the distance, you need the latitude and longitude. This one returns the coordinates as latitude and longitude. So we could break it down since we're storing it in a geopoint. My battery is quickly being sapped. So we could say location await equals, and this is going to be geopoint, and the geopoint is going to take the position dot latitude and the position dot longitude. So based on those two, we can calculate the distance. There's another method that we have there that we're going to use to calculate the distance in the search page later on when we build the search pages. But this one is enough. So we will get the user's location possessed as a latitude and longitude, and from this location variable, we could then calculate the distance between them and another user, right? So that's basically the get location function, and now we have to create the onSubmitted function. We have done the get location, and now we're going to create the onSubmitted, the method that is going to essentially send our information that has been entered into the block, right? So for that, we would come down here and we would call it onSubmitted, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to send the block, right? We are going to wait for the location to be for the simulator or the phone to get the location, and then yeah, we're going to do that, and then after that send it along with the information to the block. So for that we have to await it, and you know that we would use async, and this is not a stream, so we use async. So we would say await, and we would call the location we just made, the method we just made called get location. That's the first thing, and after that we get the profile block, and when you want to add something to a block, you use the add. And what we are going to call is the submitted, and then the various fields. We're going to present the various fields. We put a semicolon there to make it stop complaining. Let's give ourselves a bit more real estate, and we would come here and we would say the name, and we're going to get the name from the, of course, the name controller dot text, the text that is contained there. The age is gotten from, of course, the age. The location, send me location. If you're a fan of the UFC, you get that reference. Okay, gender, the gender is gotten from gender, like so. The interested in is gotten from no prizes for guessing. And the photo, same old photo, like so. And yeah, and we put a semicolon here to help that formatter. So we have created the unsubmitted, and that's what is going to be fired off when we hit the save button. So yeah, and now we continue. Okay, let's continue. Now we create the we can start the init state. We can get the init state, and for that we would type init state, like so. This will be called when the app starts, right? When this page is called, right? So when this widget is called. So you could say get location. This is not actually a page, it's a widget which is going to be lodged in a page. So when this is called, we want to get the location, and then we want to call the profile block, and we're going to use block provider. It won't make sense now, but when we actually build the page, you will understand how this code works. I'll come back to it. So we're going to provide the provider, which is going to be profile block. We're going to create a page where a page that will nest, like the form will be in a page. So this line of code currently doesn't make sense, right? And wouldn't work because we can't attach it to the profile. The provider is going to be in the page. Let me just show you an example, right? Because I'm speaking abstractly. Like if we come to the sign up form, right? We have where is the init state? Yeah, we have the sign up block provider of. So we provide the block here, but we attach it somewhere higher in the widget tree. Now this form is contained in the page, right? So if we go to the pages, let's go to the pages and we go to sign up, you will see how we provide it. We use the block provider to provide the sign up block. So, and the page is a child here. So we find that the form is a child in the page, right? So we provide here the provider, and then in the form, in the sign up form, we attach it. We inform it of the block which is higher in the widget tree. As you know, in Flutter, information flows downwards along the widget tree, right? So that's basically we're providing it to something attached higher. So because we are starting with the profile form, we are going to attach it to this profile block, but then we will connect it in the next is it the next video? Or we'll connect it when we finish with the form. The form is pretty long, right? So we will create the page and then we will attach it. I will also mention it when we're doing the page, but I hope that's understood. Like there is no context to provide this because it is not high up on the widget tree yet. We have to create the widget which will be higher up than the form on the widget tree. Like I said, data flows downwards. It's like water. It flows, and in Flutter it flows downwards, information. So let's continue. So basically we will get back to this when we create the profile page, just like the sign up page. Basically, yeah, that's that. And the interesting thing is, if you look here, we're using provider in block. Why don't you just cut off the middleman, like I've said before, and use provider in block? But anyway, that's enough of my views on state management in Flutter. We're going to use, since we're going to use you see a text field here, we need the name controller which will dispose. So we could say here void, let's just type dispose and let the IDE figure it for us, and after that we're going to say name controller dot dispose like so. So we're going to, when you're done with the text field, we're going to dispose of the controller. And yeah, and for that, instead of just building, because it's going to be a lot of code that we're going to type, we're going to break it up. And one thing we could break up is we could put the widget, the text field widget, just outside the form, right? And that would save us a bit of code, because the code is going to be very nested, and I'm sure it's just a matter of time before you read a Medium article on nested hell that is Flutter, that Flutter can be. Yeah, so we're going to abstract that code. And to abstract that, we'll just come to the bottom. Instead of creating it as its own widget, we could do it here, right? We could say it's going to be a widget, and it can be called text field widget. We should do it probably for the others, but I don't think the sign up form is as long. It's just 2. So yeah, but you could do it if you want. I'm not sure whether there's a penalty for adding a new widget to the widgets tree and not using it as a method. Actually, I think it's the opposite. This is actually more efficient. I think I read something like that in one of those in an article about Flutter. So this is actually preferred to making it as a method. Although you could correct me if it's the opposite. Padding. I'm not speaking authoritatively on that. So we could give it a bit of padding, and for that we could say the padding is edge inserts dot all, and it's going to be size dot height. We're going to use a media query, of course, and we multiply it by 0.02, like so. And it's going to have a child. The padding is going to have a child, and the child is going to be, no surprise for guessing here, it's text field. And the text field, of course, is going to have a controller which is passed in. The controller is going to be controller. Great jam. We could say decoration. It's going to be input decoration, basically like the others. The input decoration, the label text is going to be passed in, of course. Label text. There's also a style, but let's get the text done first. The label text is going to be a text like so. The label style is going to be, we could just put it on the same line. It's going to be textile. Where's textile? Textile. And the color is going to be white. It's going to be colors dot white. And the font size is going to be calculated from size.height multiplied by 0.03, like so. And we put a comma here, and we come after this. We could give it a focused border, and the focused border is going to be outline input border, and that is going to be the border side, not radius. Border side is going to be border side, and we're going to make it a sliver, so we could say color is going to be colors dot white, and the width, it's going to be a really tiny width, is going to be 1.2, like so. And yeah, and we put that, and after that we're going to come here in outline border, and we're going to give it an enabled border. The enabled border is going to be, is it going to be the same? It's exactly going to be the same. Outline input border. We could just come here and copy this. Let's just copy this code. So yeah, so basically that. So now we have our text field widget, which we're going to use. We're just going to pass in the controller, the text, and the text and the size from the media query. So that's done. Back to our widgets, and we're going to the context, and the first thing we do is provide the size, right? So you could say here size, and this is going to be the media query dot of. We pass in the context, and we give it the size, like so. And then afterwards, we are going to obviously return a block a block listener. A block listener, basically, I've explained it I think 3 times, but let me just mention it quickly. It responds to one-off changes. So we could use it, for example, when the state changes to show our snack bar. So yeah, we could do that. So for that, we would come here and we would use a block listener. Let me just minimize that. A block listener, and this is going to take in, the block listener is going to take in a profile block, like so, and it's also going to take in our profile state, like so. So it's going to take in the state and the block, and afterwards, if we don't provide if we are reaching up to a block that we couldn't that isn't can't be accessed through this context, we would say something here like block profile block, like so. We'd do this and then we'd continue, and then we'd create the listener and stuff like that, and we could say after this the listener, and the listener is going to take the context and the state from the various from the block, the build context and the profile state. But we don't have to do this, because if you check, we are providing the block using the provider, and of course in the profile page which we are going to create, we are going to attach it there. So this line is unnecessary. If we were not doing this, if we were not providing it from a higher widget, we would need to use this line. Just check the documentation if that is not all clear. When the page is created, I think I'll also come back to this just to explain it again, so that it is all crystal. So first things first, we're going to build about the state failure, and then the state is submitting. And for that, we have we check the state. We can say if state dot is failure. If the state dot is failure, if it's a failure, we should have a snack bar. So we could say scaffold, and this is from the snack bar stuff, right? Scaffold dot of, we pass in the context, and we'd say hide current snack bar, and we're using a cascading operator here. I explained it a bit. Show snack bar, and the snack bar is going to be snack bar, and let's give it a comma and a semicolon here, and the content is going to be row. We're going to give it a row, and the row basically is the same, so we could even copy the code. Main axis alignment, and the main axis alignment dot space between, so that we can put them on either end, and the children of the row are going to be text, and the first argument in a text is what you want to the string. It's not a named argument. It's profile creation unsuccessful, and we could put an icon, the icon for the hazard. We could say icons dot error, like so. So that is in case there's a failure. Where does that end? Okay, so here. So after that, we could say if basically it's the same. We could copy this. Let's hit a copy and come back here, and we could say if state is submitting, spell it correctly, is submitting, we could say We could also print it out. Why not? I mean, we could come here and say print failed, like so. Here we could say the same thing. Just before we could print first argument, we could say capital submitting, like so. And yeah, what's the next after wait is submitting? And we could say it's not exactly the same. I was going to jump to the next one. Submitting, and the children are going to be, we're going to have a circular progress, of course. Why wouldn't we? Circular progress indicator, like so. Put it like so. Circular progress indicator. That's a spinning wheel. Yeah, so that is for submitting, and I'm guessing after that we have if the state is success. Now success is short and sweet, and we could come here. We have is submitting. We have failure, submitting, and success. So for success, we say if state dot is success, and what we're going to say is print, and we could say success. Put that. And of course, if we are successful, we want to call the auth block. And remember, the auth block is hooked up to the widgets. Let me just minimize this. In the main, I believe. So we're going to tell it, because we are downstream from it, we're going to tell it that there has been a logon event. So for that, we would just say block. I think we've done it before, right? So you should get the hang of it. .of. And we should give here the authentication block, like so, and I'm guessing that will import it, and we pass in the context, and we add an event, and the event we're going to add is logged in, like so. So we tell it that we have logged in, right? So we have done that, and after that we're going to work with the block builder. Let's do that next. We continue. At the end of listener, we can come here and say child, a block builder. A block builder just builds widget depending on, I've explained it before, on the state. So we can provide it with the profile block, and the profile, why is it going all red on me? Profile state, let me just correct it. Profile state, like so. And it takes in a builder. It's a bit like a future builder. So it takes in a builder, and the builder is going to take the context and the state. You could context and the state, and it is going to return. It requires a return. That's why there is this warning here, and the return is going to be a single child scroll view, like so. And the scroll direction is going to be axis dot vertical, like so. And the child is going to be a container, and the color is going to be background. We could say the color is the background color, which I'm guessing we will import from the constants. I think we need to put a semicolon there, and the width is going to come from the media. So you could say size dot width, and after that we're going to give the container a child, and the child is going to be a column, and the column is going to have a cross-axis alignment of, it's going to be centered essentially. That's why you see enter birthdays here. We could say cross-axis alignment dot center, and after that it's going to have children, and the children, one of the children is going to be a container, and the container is going to have a width. It's going to be essentially the entire width, so you could say size dot width, essentially make it the entire thing. And after that the container is going to have a child, and the child is going to be this center here. So you could have the circle avatar, and circle avatar is going to have a radius, and we could say the size dot width, based off the width, and we're going to multiply it by a third, multiply it by okay, almost a third actually. And the background color is going to be colors dot transparent, like so. Yeah, so next thing, we should get this rounded circle. Placeholder in place. We would come to first this folder, this chill folder, create a new package, a directory, I'm guessing. It's called assets. I'm guessing when you're out of the lib folder, it's no longer a package. We could say assets, and yeah, and then we would come to pubspec YAML, and what we could say specific to Flutter. Where is it? Yeah, here. And we could do it by coming down and saying assets, like so, and then we would put assets slash, it's going to be called profile photo dot png, like so. Yeah, how we get it into the assets is we come into the assets, or rather we reveal it in the Finder or Explorer, depending on your whether you're on Windows or what's it called, best item, whether you're on Windows or you are on Mac. Well, I'm guessing Linux. Yeah, just paste it in there. I think you'll be able to find it on what's it called, on what's it called, I think you'll be able to find it on the repository, this image, and you can put it there. If you're having issues matching the indentation, just go to Flutter.io and go to the section on assets and images, and you can just copy this, copy it, come back to where you're supposed to put your indent correctly, copy it like so, change the asset to the name of your icon, your particular icon, the icon you need, and mine is going to be profile photo.png, like so. Hit pub.get and give it a second. Yeah, and so you get your profile photo like that. You're supposed to align this too, but I don't know, I kept trying to align them and they're not aligning, so I just decided to copy that, and it's a quick way to sort it out. So for that, you can now the profile photo is over here, you can see it, it's just a round, and we round it off in the image so it looks like this, like so, right? Okay, let's continue. The video you're watching has, in my view, gone on for too long. I've decided to split it into two since it was part of a much longer video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, leave a comment, and you can start the repository on GitHub, and we'll continue this in another video.